Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Network Merchandise Shop. Check out our large assortment of logo merch and our lifestyle collection as well. Just head over to abvnetwork.com and click on shop. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, Steve and Jim update us on the progress of their barrel shop. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Matt Bay, Jen Bosnat, and Danny Kennard.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Guys.
How you doing? Hey, Steve.
Hey-o. So, yeah, we're going to have some fun today. We've got a great topic at hand. But before we get to that, McNew said there's something she wanted to talk about. What is that, McNew?
Yeah, so it's not really much of a discussion, but I really just wanted to send out a big congrats to Adina Ewald. She's always in our cocktail contest, always knocks them out of the park, even if she doesn't get voted correctly every month. But she just got one of her cocktails published in a book. It was Bourbon is My Comfort Food by Heather Wibbles, and it was her Head in the Clouds cocktails, which was actually one of our contests. So just big congrats to Adina.
Congrats to Adina, yeah.
Congratulations, Adina.
Adina's great, and boy, her cocktail expertise has evolved greatly in the 2 years we've been doing these.
Like it does. So I saw her. She posted us the publication. It doesn't even look like an at-home cocktail. Like it looks like something you'd see like in a high-end bar. So she just keeps knocking it out of the park. So I just kind of wanted to acknowledge her and say congrats on that. That's amazing.
Like, don't you wish she was your neighbor and you could just come over and
yes.
I would give her there every day.
That's exactly what I thought.
I agree because I don't want to make those. They're so complex, but to drink them, heck, yeah.
Exactly.
I definitely want to drink those, but I can't. I don't know how to do that. I can't do that. I'm lucky to make an old fashioned or a margarita sometimes. So
I'm not cutting up that much stuff and doing that much work for one cocktail just for me. But if I had someone do it for me, that would be spectacular. So
right,
St. Louis, Steve, make that happen.
Okay.
Well, maybe Steve needs to run and hire Adina to run and make cocktails and do an event.
Yes, yeah. She'd have to move here, but yes, so we can have them all the time. So that'd be good.
yeah.
That would be good. You know what? Jim had a second one. We're a little bit more discussion focused. So, Jim, what do you have for us?
So I had some people talking the other day, and they're talking. We had the Olympics this previous winter here coming up, and talking about they didn't watch the Olympics at all. And their idea to make the Olympics more interesting was you just pick random people to do events. So you're in a country, and you get a notice saying, Steve, you're in the ski jump, and McNew, you've got to do the speed skating, and you got like 3 weeks to train and go. Like
That would be hilarious.
I would 100% watch that over the regular Olympics.
I totally would. But actually, I've seen somebody else post, like, you should just take one normal person to put them in there with the pros just to see how elite these professional athletes are.
Yes.
Like, me, a normal person, like, against somebody, who's trained their whole lives, it's not going to look good. But I respect them already, but I'm going to be like,
I like that idea because that's a little bit more realistic, just so we have an idea of what the normal person looks like running against, world-class sprinters and stuff like that. Yeah. What would that look like?
Steve and I line up on a 200-yard,
Usain Bolt is there too. Yeah, and it's Usain Bolt.
They finished before halfway on the block.
Imagine like a normal person trying to spin. Like, I could barely get on the ice. Like, that's not going to go.
Well, they basically did a movie of that. So it was like the bobsledding team
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was a
Jamaican
Jamaican bobsled. It was the Jamaican bobsled team.
Jamaica's
Yeah.
got a bobsled team.
They were professional, but yeah, how?
I was going to say that was actually a true story, though, right?
That was a true story.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, it'd be fun. Like you get.
that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
And it'll be on ESPN Ocho or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or like that old Saturday Night Live skit where John Belushi's eating the little chocolate donuts, and then it would be a guy like that.
I also feel like every curling team from every country are just average people, right? Like they look like somebody's dad out there. Like
So the funny thing you mentioned.
like it looks
But
like he's
how is that a sport of sweeping the ice?
Hey,
Curling. So not this Winter Olympics, but the one previous, the U.S. men's team won the curling championship. And Steve, you know Linda, who worked for me. She's from Sweden. They beat Sweden to win, and she was crushed. Like it's a huge deal in Sweden for it. Like, and so the next day, I literally come into work and it was just tormenting her. I'm like, you realize it was a bar team? Like our guys they literally got kicked out of a competition for drinking at a competition like a month later. And so I would follow her around the store all day, sweeping in front of her as hard as I could. And then I have random customers that were checking. I'm like, hey, go to Linda's line and go, hey, did you hear the U.S. won the curling? And she would just melt down on there. But I spent all day just like sweeping in front of her as much as I could. But so it was classic. But yeah, our bar league literally won the Olympics.
I love any kind of these games that are where you should have a beer in your hand.
Exactly.
Yes.
They should all be like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's amazing. I don't know how that gets through to become an Olympic sport versus other things. You know, why is bowling not an Olympic sport if curling is? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't have a big enough international. Maybe it's more of a U.S. Beer league type of thing. So I don't know. Interesting. Well, guess what, gang? It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Old Man Bay. Old Man Bay, what do you have?
Well, I'm drinking a Deer Hammer.
Well, he's gone.
Port finish.
He's gone. Old Man Bay is out. Yeah. All right. That's.
I can't do a cork.
No
can't
cork
do
pop.
A cork.
No cork pop. All right,
No.
Danny, what do you got?
Oh shoot!
This is not a pop quiz, folks. This is part of the show.
I'm gonna go with the nearest thing I have to me, which is
oh god.
All right.
Oh.
Just read the label, Danny.
It's the.
We're doing a show after
from,
this.
From
Okay.
Kentucky Owl.
Kentucky Owl, Wiseman. Okay. All right. Okay. That's our lead right now, folks. As embarrassing as that is, that's our lead. Jim, what do you got?
I've got some still 630 Monin Bell.
Okay. The old Monin Bell. Yes. It's a big deal for him. Okay, that's the lead. That's good. That's legit. The Monin Bell, Dave's big into this. I don't really understand it, but I was there last time they did a release of that. There's people driving in from other states to pick this up. It's a big deal.
Yeah, I forget what college it's out of.
Well, like one of the oldest rivalries or something like that in college sports. It's just two small schools. Yeah, two small schools though. So yeah, it doesn't hit the radar for most of us. But if you're involved in that, that's a huge deal to be recognized like that. So yeah. All right, McNew, what do you got?
I have some Jefferson's Reserve Pritchard Hill Cabernet cask finish.
Okay. Okay, that was really good. Not as good as Jim's though. That's not bad. I like that. That stuff tastes like sugar cookies to me. I like that stuff. So,
I haven't had it yet. I'm excited.
It's good. It's good. I've got from Breckenridge here. Breckenridge. This is their powder pound. So this is that white label stuff that they've got. So cork pop. Hardly anything at all. So Jim takes it again. Boy, I think Heidi's going to be
all of them in it.
Yeah, it's a lot of them.
No,
I got one tonight.
He lost one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he's done good. So cheers, Jim.
Cheers.
Cheers, Jim.
Cheers.
All right. Oh, he likes his. Oh, he's got. Yeah, this was his reaction when we're doing a blind tasting, which we're like, don't say anything, and that's what. That's
I didn't say anything though.
Yeah,
As soon as I smelled it, as soon as I tasted it, I was like, that's it. I know this one.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to have an ABV Barrel Shop update from Jim and I. We'll do that in just a few. Hello, this is Steve Akeley of the ABV Network. Let's talk about the people who make this show happen. First up is Leatherwood Distillery in Pleasant View, Tennessee. Company founder Andy Lang started distilling as a hobby while serving his country as an elite Green Beret. Andy distilled all over the world during his time in the military and brought this passion back to him in the U.S. when he returned home. A visit to Leatherwood combines Andy Lang's unique distilled spirits and a museum of artifacts from his time serving the U.S. Share a drink with a fallen soldier at their bar where you can grab an acrylic bio off the wall that celebrates the individuals who gave the ultimate sacrifice to protect his or her country. They will also ship their distilled spirits directly to you, so check them out at leatherwooddistillery.com. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent visits to Kentucky. Today, he's leading the way for young distillers making their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery combines family history, a look at what makes their products unique, and of course a tasting through their whiskeys, moonshines, and creams. Check them out at neelyfamilydistillery.com and visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
I'm Davey Waltz.
And I'm Adina.
And you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we have an update from Jim and Steve on the Barrel Shop.
Yes, we do. So we're down to not much left to do. I mean, we have to sign the lease yet. We haven't done that yet. So we're working through some last minute things. It's all negotiated. We got to get one last approval. And once we get that, then we get to, now I'd say that would happen tomorrow, but our realtor's on vacation for a week. So she said she's taking her computer with us, but I don't think that's a quick turnaround.
I think by the end of the week, we'll have our lease signed. It's my guess.
Yeah, I think so. So hopefully that keeps us on track because we have a date in our minds when we'd like to get started. I'd love to stick to that if at all possible, because now, again, this is all set up beforehand. I'm going to be traveling almost the entire month of June. I think I'm in town like 4 days in June. That's it. And then even in May, I'm missing some time too. So hopefully that doesn't throw us off. If so, worst case scenario, it just pushes us back. We just deal with whatever happens to us. But all that being said, Jim, we're on track to do some pretty cool stuff, aren't we?
Yeah, we got some great stuff going on. We've got our location picked out. We've got, kind of the layout of the store picked out. We've got some great people, great friends. We had Gary Heingartner from Wood Hat reached out because listen, we're on a budget to make this happen with just you and I. And Gary heard some stuff we're doing, and he offered us to do the bar top in the bar. He's like, Jim, I got lumber, and I got a buddy with a mill. We'll make your bar top right here. And so we're gonna do like a live edge bar, 2.5 inch thick lumber on barrels, and then have some kind of like a tin front to it that's gonna be corrugated, tin that's going to kind of look Rick House-ish as we put this together. So
give us an idea. Again, for someone who's into woodworking is probably like, I know what that means. For those of us that aren't, that doesn't mean a whole lot to us. But 2.5 inch, tell us if we decided we wanted to do this, if Gary's not involved, we just go to the sawmill and be like, here's what we want. What are we paying for that?
$500-$800 easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Like those live edges. So my brother does woodworking, and I asked him to build. We want to actually put a bar in our house. He's like, "You don't want to pay for that," and I was like, "No, I don't." Once we found out what that actually cost.
So he's like, literally, he's like, "You're gonna have to pay for the mill time." But it's a buddy who owns it. He's like, "I'm like, what's that gonna run me?" He's like, probably $50. I'm okay, like, yeah. So he's like, "You got to come pick it up." All right, I drive out there anyway. I'll go maybe taste a couple barrels while I'm waiting for the wood to be finished. And so he's helping us there. Steve, you can kind of talk to Lenny. We just did our first barrel picks. I guess our second official. So we already got one from Gary, but our first pick that we did of multiple barrels. So if you want to talk about that, Steve, that we did with with Old Man Bay here.
Yeah, so we did a blind tasting of 10 different of Lenny's whiskey. So there was bourbon in there. There was which was a regular bourbon and a 4-grain bourbon. There was rye in there, and then there was a lot of single malts, 6 single malts in there. And I'm not a huge single malt person by any means. And when they're done right, I do like them. And man, he did us right with all of them. They were all very good. And the one that we picked in first ended up actually being a single malt, which is just amazing. And I'll tell you what, that one blew me away too. So we can even say the name of it. It's going to be called Brewery Tour. It to me tastes like what the sensory that you get when you're taking a tour of the brewery here in St. Louis. And I won't say the name of it, but if you know St. Louis and you know the big brewery tour, you know what I'm talking about. There is definitely a certain smell that you get, and if you're like, if I could taste this, I wonder what it tastes like. Now you know, because we've got it. We're going to have it at the store. It's very cool. Was that not great? Yeah,
it was great to me. So you brought the bottles down first, and you're like, oh, we got these two, and the 2 bourbons, the 2 ryes, and the 6 single malts, and I'm like, how do you want to taste these out? You want to do the bourbon separate? He's like, no, let's do them all together. So I had you go grab some painter's tape so we could do them 100% wide.
Which wound up almost being a fiasco.
Well, a little bit, yes. The painter's tape wasn't great. It stuck to some of the labels a little. So
yes. Yeah.
But
it was almost a disaster. Yeah.
I love the fact that, Steve admittedly, American Single Malt isn't his favorite of the whiskeys that you're going to put out there. And, so we taste through these 10 barrels, and Steve's number 1 pick overall was an American Single Malt. And I wish Lenny was on this show so I could tell him that, like, how great he did with that American Single Malt, that it was Steve's. Because I would bet you money Steve thought going into this he's going to either pick a bourbon or rye as his number 1 pick, which is why I love to do and will do every pick we ever do for the shop blind, so there's no bias going into this. So it was a surprise for us, but a pleasant surprise because it was a fantastic barrel.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
The one that I would have given my lead horse going in because it just was going to be so unique, and that ended up being a second was Old Man Bay's favorite, which is actually going to go into an Old Man Bay pick. So it was a rye, but it was port barrel finish. So I thought that was going to be the winner actually, but it was in second place. So yeah.
It was first place in my mind from the get-go.
Right.
That sounds delicious though. A rye that's port barrel finished.
Oh yeah.
Oh girl, let me tell you.
He's drinking some right now.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
I am so proud to be the only one that has.
He's got some, yeah.
You
and Lenny. Lenny's got some.
Me and Lenny were the only ones that have this, and it is delicious. What was it? 105 proof, 3-year single barrel. Yep. Port finish.
Yeah. I talked to Lenny, and I was just bragging to him about how great they were. And he's like, "Well, of course, we're not going to send you out the bad ones. This is a kind of a big deal, your grand opening and all that." So, yeah, so that's cool. But to me, that says what.
Back up for a second, because what you just said there is what we're bringing to the table.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Your relationships, we're not going to be picking from the last end. They're going to give us their best stuff to pick from.
Yeah. Right. So say the local, I don't know what the local liquor store there is, and I don't know what's in Denver, but say the local liquor store in Denver called, it might just be a matter of, hey, pull 3 barrels at random. Not for us. See, we play by different rules than everybody else. Lenny literally sent us his best 10 barrels, and it showed. Those were 10 great barrels. We could have bought every one of those barrels, and our audience would be happy. And you know what? We'll be going back to Lenny. This isn't going to be the only barrel picks we ever do with Lenny, but they were fantastic. But that just shows you the kind of special treatment that we get. He went out and he was like, he's going to pick us his 10 best barrels, and he did. He brought it. So that was exciting. It was a fun day. It was just a fun day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
and then we got to sit and watch. First time I ever been to Steve's house, and he's got that lake right behind the house, and this blue heron came flying in, and we had to kind of like just stop and take that in, and it swooped around. It was just beautiful. It was awesome.
Yeah. I tell you what, that's what got us. When we bought the house, and 92 is when we bought that house, but yeah, it wasn't a blue heron at that time. It was a white heron, but the same type of thing. We go and we tour this house, and there we are, same town. Both of us grew up in. My wife and I had no idea this lake was back there and all that. And we go in, and there's this white heron, this big bird flying across this lake, and we're like, we'll write a check right now for her down.
Right.
because we like nature and wildlife, and it's so secluded. It's just nice. I mean,
it's really neat.
Oh, well, so the Blue Heron is now that's the one that owns the property right now. The Blue Heron is the coolest thing going. Yeah, I like the Blue Heron's even better than the White Heron. The Blue Heron's cool. That color is cool.
Yeah, it's great.
Cool. So yeah, that's definitely one of the big things. A neat day. Those are kind of the days we're going to be having. We're going to try to get people engaged. Like we had Old Man Bay here engaged this time. He came out and participated in that. Jim and I, when we have to do these things, we're going to get other people, from the bourbon industry to come in with us. So McNew, you may be there one time.
Yeah,
and,
I'm excited.
Yeah, we'll get other folks with us to do picks that we then put on the barrel. It'll be your special pick, and that's kind of a cool thing that we're going to do.
I will say, like, whatever groups you put together are always some of the best barrel picks. I'm like, I don't think I have a great palate by any means, but I like doing picks. I have fun. But whatever group you put together, we all agree, even though we like different things. And you just put good people together to get great picks. You always have. Yeah. Like our limestone branch pick, like I've had so many friends and family try that, like even people that don't really like bourbon or rye. They're like, this is the best rye I've ever had. I'm like, I know, I picked it.
Right.
It's so fun.
And a lot of that has to do with the scoring system. Jim, without giving away our proprietary scoring system, tell them a little bit why the scoring system ends up being such a big player in what we do.
So the way it works, I'm not going to go into it in total detail, but we can have something that isn't. It could not be anybody's number one, but if it's everybody's number two, it's still going to win. So it's with a scoring system in place that really ensures that we're picking the best bourbon overall for that group. Even so, with Old Man Bay coming to the pick there, he hasn't done a lot of barrel picks, but we went through them in the 4 barrels that we picked at the end. It would have been the same 4 barrels if Steve and I were just picking ourselves, just in a different order. So it would have been the same 4 barrels that we got. And Steve and I had some great success. And we've been lucky. Hell, we just won a best single barrel pick in New Orleans. Yeah. We did a pick, a Four Roses pick.
But it's not just New Orleans, by the way. That's forever. Everywhere.
Yeah.
From across the country sends in. It was the New Orleans Bourbon
Festival. Best single barrel pick in the country. We did a pick, with Four Roses years ago, and we had the same pick there with I'm blanking on his name.
Al Young.
Yeah, we did the Al Young pick, and Al Young picked the same barrel blind that Steve and I picked. So I feel like we validated our palate over the years with some great picks and great people, but I think our process works out well, as well. So I'm looking forward to moving all of this. And what do we got, Steve? We're going to have 10 barrels for grand opening. Is that the plan?
Yeah, our plan is to have 10 barrels for grand opening. So yeah, it's we're in the process of doing that now. We only have 2 of the distillery's picks. So again, we picked 4 barrels from Lenny, but we're not rolling all those out the first week. That'll be so we can stage it out over time. We'll hold some of those back, but we're looking at having 10 different distilleries represented. So yeah, that's the plan at this point.
I tell you what, that was just so much fun for me, being a little bit newer to doing barrel picks. I've done several barrel picks now, but that process that you guys put me through with 10 different, it was fun. Let me tell you, these 2 flew through picking them too.
Well,
they had their notes, they're taking their notes, and I'm like on number 3.
But we know how the system works. We know how the system works. We do it a lot.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
It was interesting. It was and a little confusing, but I figured it was neat. It was so much fun.
Yeah. So that's kind of what's going on there. The store build out is the next big thing. Again, we can't start on that till we officially sign the lease. Once we do that, the good news is there's not a whole lot to do in the store, is there, Jim? I mean, the bar you talked about, yes, that needs to be built, but the rest of it. Danny just woke up and said what? He didn't know where he was at for a second there. So, God.
Welcome back.
You're gold, buddy. You're gold.
Yeah. So, there's, there's not a whole lot to do. Now, again, aesthetically, we're going to do some things that are going to be labor intensive, like the barrel stave wall. Again, that's a lot of work. But again, we wouldn't even have to do that if we didn't want to. That's a really nice to have to make things special and different. But in reality, there's great bones there, aren't there, Jim?
Yes. And it's listen, our concept is pretty simple. We're going to have a classroom on one side, a bar on the other, some retail up front. With what we're doing with just focusing on single barrels, I mean, realistically, we're not going to have more than, even once we get up and running at 100%, you're probably going to have a selection of 20 single barrels at a time. And as we sell through them, the oldest 10 barrels, you're not going to have a ton left of that, so it's not going to take a lot of space. So we're just going to be constantly cycling through these single barrel offerings. We're not going to have anything. You're not going to come in and find Jack Daniels on the shelf. You're not going to find Jim Beam on the shelf. You're literally going to find craft single barrel distilleries on the shelf. That's it. So we don't need a ton of space for that. And then we'll have some merchandise from the ABV network and some more stuff that we're doing, separately. And then Old Man Bay signs will be prominent around the store. So, so we're gonna have to put in some paint. The bar build out will be, a little bit of work there. The stave wall will be a lot of work there. That's right. And then we'll see. I literally was just in Troy, Missouri yesterday, picking up all our chairs that we found for the
classroom side. Yeah.
We'll probably start out with some banquet tables, but I want to build out all wood tables that kind of have that kind of rick house feel to them. Kind of old. I do a lot of stuff with reclaimed pallets. My whole bar, my basement's built out of that. So I like the kind of beat up, rough feel to it, which would be kind of cool if we could get the tables that you're sitting at for the classes to kind of have that feel over time. Yep. That may take a little while, but if I can get it done before we open, I'll get it done before we open. We'll see what happens there. But that's. We'll evolve as we go along. As the money starts rolling in, I still think we probably want a TV up somewhere, Steve, that we can have the YouTube channels, streaming and And then Steve is chasing this fantastic sign that has history in St. Louis. And I'll let you talk about that, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is to bring St. Louis. This is a St. Louis place, and we want to bring some of that St. Louis history in there. We've identified a sign that I would love to get in there, and now it becomes down to negotiating. Can we buy this thing? And because my idea is, and I'm not going to say the name of it because I don't want anybody trying to go out and buy it for me, because that stuff does happen. But my idea is like the bar, to have the name of the bar to mean something, to be almost like it's a separate business. It's not. It's going to be just part of the ABV Barrel Shop. But I like the idea of the bar having its own name. And I can see someone being like, hey, do we want to go to XYZ Bar, whatever it is? We're not going to say the name of it. Let's head over to XYZ Bar tonight. And that's just code between friends or between a husband and a wife to come to the shop. And I like that idea because it's more than just a liquor store. It's not really a liquor store. It's an education center. It's a place to hang out with your fellow bourbon fans and have conversations. And that bar is going to be key to that. That's going to be a place where you come and you talk to your fellow bourbon fans and taste some of the things that we've got going on. And that's just my dream that the bar has a little bit of its own personality, which is going to have a cool look. Can we create that
kind of like a speakeasy?
Yeah, a little bit. And so when we say bar, like, we haven't worked out all the details yet, but probably the whatever the two newest or three newest barrels are, those will probably be available to taste for free. And then we'll have flights that are available from the other stuff that, honestly, will probably be just about costs, like cost plus enough to cover us.
Yeah, so that was going to be my next question. Like, we could just show up and be like, hey, we want to go to the tasting bar. I want to taste this, but can I buy pours as well? So that will be an option.
That's the idea is, you can try before you buy. Yeah.
Is there going to be, when again, like you said, McNew, when you say bar, I'm thinking, a saloon type, whatever, tavern.
Yeah.
It's not, you're going to be able to come in and do tastings and whatever. Is there going to be like a sit down area where people can just hang out?
Yeah. Yeah. There will be that.
It'll be 16 by 7 feet, I think, is how the bar breaks down in the L. With the opening, if we had the opening there, so we got to figure out how the bar's tooled. So you're probably looking at, maybe 10 seats, somewhere in that range around the bar. Are you going to be pouring cocktails? No.
It'll be neat pours of what we have.
What we have
in inventory. Yeah.
And again, there'll be X amount that are free. So like, here's our newest barrels, so you can taste these 2 barrels for free. But if you want to taste anything else, we haven't figured out the pricing yet, but it'll be basically, we've discussed, it'll be basically cost, maybe plus a little bit to cover, maintenance or whatever else.
I will say
not paying $10 a pour. What's that?
there's a liquor store in Indianapolis that does something sort of similar. He's a regular liquor store, but he does a lot of picks. But he has a bar where he's like, try my pick, and he will just be like there on a Saturday handing you out pick pours for free. And let me tell you, this dude sells some bottles because he's letting you try before you buy. And I'm I would have never thought about this.
That.
Hand it to me. So I think that's fantastic. It's really going to move some things, honestly.
But then again, there's nothing wrong with sitting there doing something like what they do, like, for instance, Dogwood here in Missouri, or what's the company there in Kentucky? Shit. Can't think of their name. But anyway, you do it by the pour. You charge them by the pour.
Yes. Yeah, we'll be doing that.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I really don't mind going to the shop and then trying all the samples and everything else. That's like here in St. Louis, at least out here in O'Fallon, where I'm at. We've got what they call Dogwood Spirits, and then they say it's $5 for this amount of pours, or you pay single.
Right. Yeah.
Either which way.
I was just wondering. I guess my question was: is there going to be can I come in there and get a pour and sit down in a big fat leather chair and smoke a cigar and enjoy your picks?
There'll be a bar. There'll be a
bar stool. Yeah, we're just
limited
on our space. Not that we're against the idea of nice leather, comfy chairs. We just don't have the room.
Right.
But if you want to fund us to do that, we'd be all in.
Yes. Well, if we got Old Man Bay money, hell yeah.
Oh, here we go again. Golly, I don't have a job, guys.
Neither do Jim and I. So
right.
Yeah.
Another question: are you guys going to be brick and mortar only, or are you looking into online and shipping as well?
Yeah. So we are looking at online via a partner that we've got. We've gone back and forth with our partner, and boy, when we announced that we're getting ready to open and please sign up for our email distribution list, that individual reached out to me and said, don't forget about us. We got this thing we're working on together. And so that sounds interesting. It's going to be a little bit different. There'll also be barrel picks, but there'll be different barrel picks. So we will have probably in the store versus online different barrel picks, but they will be done by the same group. So Jim and I will be doing the actual picks, but they will be different than what you get in the store. So that's more information about that is coming soon. So yes,
I think that's fun. I like that idea too. You guys are just kind of nailing it across the board. I cannot wait till you open.
I think so. Yeah.
And the best part
is the store picks going to be done by you and Jim only, or are y'all going to invite?
Well, if you would have took a nap, you would have heard the answer to this.
Yeah. So we're engaging other people to help us. So yeah, that'll be people from the bourbon industry. It'll be people like Old Man Bay here, and then sometimes it'll be just fans. Every day, as Danny likes to say, the everyday regular person. There'll be picks where we do with them as well. So
and maybe some of the whiskey groups in the area, things like that as well, to get them involved. But we haven't even touched on classes yet. So we've talked about classroom, but we're going to have a space for 24 people. We think, Steve.
Yep, 24 people.
If we could theoretically sit some people at the bar for the class as well. That would be a little turn to do it, but with the space, it might work out. But I'm excited. Steve did classes at Total Wine and sold them out all the time. I did classes at Total Wine. It was a lot of fun. So not only we'll have our classes, but we'll bring distillers through as well. But we've just been kind of spitballing some fun classes to do that aren't out there. And I just jokingly said, and now I love the concept, we literally have a Dunkin' Donuts in our parking lot. And I said, we need to do a breakfast and bourbon class.
Yeah.
Whiskey and donuts. People
right.
That
we're going to do that. We are going to do that.
Yeah. So you bring in, a maple glazed donut and a cinnamon donut and pair them up with different whiskeys. And nobody else is doing that. And then, and then we have some great ice cream shops here in the area.
Yeah.
And doing, an ice cream and whiskey pairing, stuff like that. So we're going to do a lot of unique classes on top of all the educational stuff. And it'll be so much fun. And Steve will bring his classes to the store as well. So
yes.
Well, just to let you know,
Okay.
there's a guy out there that does a YouTube video and all for different donut shops and everything else.
Yeah.
That might be something that y'all might want to investigate
That
into
would be cool.
if that's what you're trying to do, of doing pairings with. Just saying,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, yeah, we're
you
into
don't
this
have to
idea.
limit yourself to Dunkin', is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Which
I've
is
got
in
the
a
world's
parking lot.
I got the world's best donut place by me, so I'd like to introduce people to that place here in South County.
I got the world's best donut place.
No, I've already won awards with it. So, but
I'm pretty sure there's right here in Florissant. Old Town Donuts is the best.
no way.
Old Town Donuts is the best.
No, Old Town Donuts is not. It'll be killed by us in South County. Matter of fact, it's in Lemay, Missouri, right where old Man Bay is moving to.
Yeah, new shop location.
Yeah.
What place is that?
Gosh, now you're putting me on the spot. I don't remember things when people ask me directly.
See, it must not be that good.
It's that good. I just know to go.
I can't remember the name. I mean, I know the name of mine.
There's some nasty places out there I will not eat.
No, it's not.
Just saying, I know the old.
The best is Jack's Donuts in Indiana.
No, Jack's is no good.
They're the best of the best.
Well, I don't know anybody in Indiana, so.
You know me. I live here.
No, I'm talking about as far as donut makers. There's some donut makers I know over in North County I will not touch.
Okay. So yeah, we'll do donuts and yeah, we'll probably mix up our donut makers because we want to bring in the absolute best from time to time. So yes, we'll have that. I like opening day weekend. Let's talk about opening day weekend. Now it's not set yet what weekend that is, but here's how I see it going down. Friday night will be by invite only. So this is your VIPs, friends and family. That'll be by invite only. Come on and see the shop, and we'll probably have food there and stuff like that. It'll be a party. And then Saturday will be open to the general public, probably longer hours than we normally do, which is going to be one of our key things that we do. So you really want to sign up for our list at abvbarrelshop.com. Check it out now. Get signed up now because our hours are going to vary week to week. I mean, for the most part, we'll have kind of set schedule, but you know what? Things can change. If there's something going on in the industry where Jim and I both need to attend, hey, the shop's closed. It's the two of us. If we can't be there, and you were like, well, what about your business? You know what? It's important for our business to be a part of the industry. So we will go and do industry things and keep the shop closed and come back and be able to do more things with you in the future. Right. So it's to your benefit as a bourbon fan for us to, participate in the world of bourbon. And then I think the first weekend we'll be open on Sunday too. Something we're not normally going to be open on Sunday, but I think we'll do 2 classes because we want to get our classes going. I think in the morning we'll do our breakfast and bourbon. I think in the afternoon, Old Man Bay, we want to do something with you. We want to do kind of a woodworking, show, you can kind of show how you do with your class. Your products will be available for sale there. You'll show a little bit of insight. We'll pair that with some of the picks that we've got going. You're going to have a pick there in the first week. You can sign some of those bottles and pick up one of those bottles as well. So that'll be part of the class that we're doing. So that should be fun. That's just an idea about first week.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Maybe we hold his bottles to release on that day.
Yeah, so I agree. Yeah.
That might be the right thing to do there.
Cool.
Yeah, I think we hold at a very minimum, we hold back again, because if we're open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, potentially it could be sold out. I think we hold back, 24 bottles to, 4 cases of that. So if you buy the ticket, you can also buy a bottle if you want to. So that, you're guaranteed to at least get a bottle. I think we'll do stuff like that all the time. Hey, with this class pairs with this particular whiskey offering. Right. By the way, you'll get a chance to buy it. We're not going to include it in the ticket price because maybe not everybody wants it. That might, put the price of the ticket too high. But if you want to buy a bottle, you have a right of first refusal to get one if you want it. So
very cool.
Well, I got another bottle that's coming out under my brand, and we're actually using the bottle as the ticket. To be once you buy the bottle, that's how you get into the release party.
Yeah.
On a pre-sale.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
So there's different ways to do things, and we may be doing a little bit of everything with our shop. So yeah, it just depends.
I'm excited for you guys. That's really cool. Is there any other shop like that? Do you guys know?
No.
Is there?
There is not a shop in the world that sells only barrel picks. Now, there's shops that will tell you they specialize in barrel picks, and there'll be shops that have more than us. So, right away we may get attacked when we say we're the only ones, because there may be some that say, "Hey, we have 50-something barrel picks." I know of a shop in Nashville that has over 50 barrel picks. I get that, but they have a full service liquor store there too.
Right.
So we're not that. We're just barrel picks.
Single barrel only.
Yes.
Picks only.
Like that's the other big part. Like
That's
we are
right.
going to craft. Like my goal is to teach people how good craft whiskey is. I used to love that with my time at Total Wine. People come like, "Oh, this is only 2 years old or 3 years old. It can't be any good." Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah.
I will, or it's just because I've never heard of this brand, it's no good. I mean, literally, 10th Mountain did one of the best whiskeys I've tasted all freaking year.
And you know what? You guys can get some great stuff without selling a shit ton of Wheatley vodka to get great stuff.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
All right.
That's what
Jim,
gets
I
me
will
stuff.
turn around and put up 291 next to George T. Stagg. I
Yeah.
cannot
Well,
get a
that's what-
hold of George T. Stagg, but I can get a hold of 291.
Well, that's what I told Steve. I'd love to do a class at some point where we get a bottle of some B-Tech or something hard to find, and we do a blind tasting class where we taste that George T. Stagg versus 291 versus 10th
Right.
Mountain.
It doesn't matter. But the problem is the fact is I cannot get a hold of.
No, I understand that, but my point is to educate people that how good craft
Or you
is.
can't get it because there's other options out there that are just as good.
Absolutely.
I want to do a
And,
blind
I
tasting with those whiskeys to show people what's out there, and to just kind of sidestep for 1 second here. The other part that Steve I haven't talked about his businesses with this great parking lot where we have this access on the right hand side of our
Yes.
store, where it's kind of a horseshoe plaza that we're in, but it's an open horseshoe, like the sides are connected.
They don't touch. So yeah.
And so the one corner there, we'll be able to have a bourbon festival or do a food truck Friday event or some version of that where we can do some events in this space as well. And
Yeah,
really,
Jim, there's nobody that's better connected now than our friend Old Man Bay here in terms of bourbon, or whiskey artisans. So how about a little mini festival where we just bring in people who make stuff with bourbon barrels and stuff like that? He's got all those contacts, so we could literally have a dozen of those with give you a booth, and you can sell your stairs there, and then we open up for something like that. Who else is doing something like that in St. Louis? Nobody. There's nobody who just has just an open market of just bourbon craftspeople. It just doesn't happen. So we'll be able to do those type of things.
And speaking of that, those people like that, would you guys be willing to sell their products in your store for certain commission or whatever?
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, we can talk more about that then.
We've got a gift shop, and of course that's we want to sell those type of things in our gift shop. So yeah, we want to represent people who are doing good things for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Sure. Yeah, we'll talk more about that again. Time.
So also, I think it's fun that you guys are going to put up Old Man Bay signs in the shop, because there's a wine shop near me that has local artists, and they have a sign that says all art for sale. Like their walls are littered with art, and it says all art for sale. You can literally just go pick a piece, check it out when you want to leave. I think that is super cool. I love that.
It's such a neat concept when restaurants or anybody that does that, because not only are you supporting the mom and pop business like Steve and Jim, but you're also supporting local artisans that are trying to just make a few extra bucks or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Just like on the earlier show, I turned and asked Old Man Bay, basically, I know he tries to do distilleries and everything else, but if anybody wanted to contact him to get a personal sign made for their personal bar,
Yep.
You're right.
He'll do it. He'll do it.
You got
allmanbaysigns@gmail.com.
So yeah, it's just going to be a place for bourbon fans. I think are going to want to hang out. I think it's more than a place to come and pick up some whiskey from time to time. You want to talk bourbon? You want to live bourbon? That's what we do. That's the world I live in. That's all I do.
Right.
That's not the only thing I know anything about. You want to come in and you want to talk about, world views or what's going on here or there or anything else, sports even. I don't really know about anything other than bourbon. That's all I know about. So that's what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, I want the legend to come in and sit down and just bullshit me for an hour.
Yeah.
Taste a few things, and he leaves with a couple bombs.
Honestly, I could just get bored on a Saturday and be like, you know what? St. Louis isn't that far. Let me go hang out here.
Exactly.
Come on, McNew.
How many times do you think you can get the legend there?
Oh, I think he'll be there every Saturday.
I was gonna say he's gonna be like me. You're gonna have to kick me out.
How can we get him out of there? Would be the key. Yes.
How do you get him out?
I think we need to do live events with the legend.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, David, we did discuss putting a litter box in just for you.
Oh, that would be awesome.
So Danny has a place to nap between his drinks. So.
Will you guys build a porch for me? Is there room?
Yes, we will. Yeah. We as long as you're fine being out back. Yes, we have a front door to back.
So we'll have McNew's deck and then my letterbox below it. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure all on a litter box, but that's fine.
Yeah. So we couldn't be any happier to do what we're doing. It's an exciting time, and I think we are going to truly build something great. I think we're at the verge of greatness here. And
how's your email sign up list going? How many people you got?
Going good. I've got about 300 now, which is good because it's a lot of people I don't know. So a lot of the
that's good.
A lot of my ABV network people haven't signed up for it because I assume they think, well, I'm on all our distribution lists anyway. And I'm really not putting them on there because I feel like this is a different business. It is a separate business. ABV network still is going to be separate from ABV Barrel Shop.
Steve.
So yes, Danny, I think you're on the list. I think you're one that signed up.
I'm on the list. I signed up.
McNew signed up. Yeah, so yeah, some people have signed up, but a lot haven't because I think they assume, well, I already get all the communication. I'm going to get that. It's really a separate database. But what's been great is
anybody that's listening to this show should be sharing on all their social medias. Make sure everybody's signing up for this.
Yes, absolutely, and check
out
the ABV Network Crew Club. All I'm going to say about that is there's going to be an increase in benefits next year, and you want to be a Crew Club member because, again, we're going to promote our events and stuff like that to the Crew Club first. Please be a part of that, and you'll get word. I think it'll pay off for you, even with the shop too. So,
and this Crew Club, so we can put out an event, Steve, and we're like, oh well, we might put it out to somebody else later. We don't even have to. They are
the stuff sells out before it ever goes to the general public. So that's going to be a big part of it too. Be a part of the convergence of the two companies. And I think that's part of it, stuff like that. So, all right. Well, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Old Man Bay, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
On all social media at Old Man Bay Signs, and my website is oldmanbayllc.com.
All right. Danny. Oh, Danny's drinking.
You can find me at Danny Kennard on Facebook.
All right.
Cheers.
Jim, how about you?
You can find me on Facebook at Jim Fazant, on Instagram at FazJim, FAZZJAM. You can find me every Friday night hosting Jim's Big Pours. You can get your tickets on Eventbrite, and pretty soon you'll be able to find me hanging out at the bar at ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis. Won't be too long.
Yeah, absolutely. McNew, how about you?
I am on Instagram at McNew ABV.
All right. For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more, abvnetwork.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I would like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right, great job today, gang. Finance, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.